If you have a tax-free savings account and a spouse, you're going to want to make sure that spouse is listed as a successor holder of the TFSA and not a beneficiary. Hey there, I'm Mike, the financial advisor, and tax-free savings accounts are fantastic vehicles for saving money, and they come with a lot of neat little features. One of them is the ability to name a successor holder. Now, that person does have to be a spouse, but it's different than a beneficiary. See, a beneficiary gets the money in the tax-free savings account. A successor holder gets the actual tax-free savings account. And I know that seems like the same thing, but it's actually pretty different when you consider taxes. I'll explain what I mean, but I gotta get something first. Hang on. Okay, let's pretend for a second that I own this can of Coke, which isn't really pretending, it was in my fridge, of course I own it. But let's pretend that you're the beneficiary. What that means is, if I die, you get the Coke. But here's the rub. You don't get the can. You only get the Coke. You only get the contents inside. And it's the same with a tax-free savings account. If you're the beneficiary, you get the cash. You get the contents that's inside. You do not get the tax-free savings account shell. Now, if you want to drink the Coke right away, that's not a big deal. You crack the can, you down it, you go on about your day. And it's the same with a tax-free savings account. If you want to use the cash right away, it doesn't matter if you're a beneficiary or a successor holder. You take the money, you pay down some debt, you go on vacation, do whatever you're going to do. The problem arises if you don't want to use it right away. If you don't want to drink this Coke right there on the spot, well, you can't leave with the can. So if you want to mix this with amaretto on the weekend or have it with pizza, your only option is to pour it in a glass or in a bucket or put it in your hands and stick it in the fridge for a couple of days. But we all know that's not the best way to store pop. Now, if you don't want to use the cash in the tax-free savings account right away, that's where we run into some issues. Remember this old chestnut about taxes in Canada? In fact, it's very difficult to get tax-free growth on anything in Canada. If you have some kind of asset and it gets more valuable over time, chances are you're going to have to pay tax on that growth at some point. Now, a couple of notable exceptions. Number one is your primary residence. So basically your home. That's exempt from the rule. Number two, tax-free savings accounts, which are just fantastic vehicles for saving money. And number three, in most cases, cash value life insurance. But that's really it. So ideally, you want tax-free growth whenever you can get it. Now, we all know there's limitations as to how much you can put into a tax-free savings account. Well, if you're the successor holder, it kind of bypasses those rules. You can take your spouse's tax-free savings account and you can stuff it into your already existing tax-free savings account. Double stuffed tax-free savings account, like an Oreo, but with money. By doing so, you're gonna get tax-free growth on a bigger amount of money over a longer period of time, which is win-win. So again, if you have a tax-free savings account and a spouse, make sure that spouse is listed as a successor holder and not just a beneficiary. Thanks for watching.